angels kept there watching over silent flocks by night. Behold, throughout the heavens He showed a holy light. And I said, go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. The shepherds feared and trembled when lo, above the earth rang out the angels' chorus and hail our Savior's birth. Now in the lowly manger our humble Christ was born, and God sent us salvation on that blessed Christmas morn. And I say, go tell it on the mountain, over the hill and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. On the mountain, I was a lowly seeker, I sought on day and night. I asked the Lord to help me, and He showed me His light. He made me a watchman, upon the city wall. And if I am a Christian, I am the least of all. And I say, go tell it on the mountain, over the hill and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Go tell him, go tell him, go tell him, oh, to tell him, go tell him, go tell him, go tell him, oh, to tell about him, go tell him, go tell him, go tell him, oh, to tell about him, go tell him. And go tell him, go tell him, oh, I want to tell him.
I'm going to read another story from the Jesus Storybook Bible about the three wise men. The King of all kings, from Matthew 2. Far away in the east, three clever men saw the very same star, the star that God had put in the sky when Jesus was born. They knew it was a sign. A baby king had been born. They had been waiting for this star. They knew it would come. He's here, they shouted. He's here. And I'm sure if you had been there, you would have heard them laughing and dancing and singing till the sun came up. At dawn, they packed up their camels and wrapped gifts for the baby. They brought their most precious treasures of all, frankincense, gold, and myrrh. Special, sparkly, lovely smelling, gleaming things, just right for a king. The three wise men, actually, if you'd met them, you'd thought they were kings because they were so rich and clever and important looking, set off. They rode their camels across endless deserts, up steep, steep mountains, down deep, deep valleys, through raging rivers, over grassy plains. night and day, day and night, for hours that turned into days, that turned into weeks, that turned into months and months, until at last they reached Jerusalem. Jerusalem was by far the most important city for miles around, and as you can tell, that's where a palace would be. And kings were born in palaces, so that's where they went. But they were in for a surprise. They went to see King Herod. Surely he'd know where this baby was. But he didn't. In fact, he didn't like the sound of a new king. It made him cross. He didn't want anyone to be king except him. But Herod's advisors told the 3 wise men what was written in their books, what God had said about the baby king. Go to Bethlehem. That's where you'll find him. Suddenly, the star they had seen in the east started moving again, showing them the way. So the 3 wise men followed the star out of the big city, along the road, into the town of Bethlehem. They followed the star through the streets of Bethlehem, out of the nice part of town, through the not so nice part of town, into the really not at all part of town, down a dirt track until it stopped right over a little house. But wait, it wasn't a palace, and there weren't any guards or servants or flags or red carpets or trumpets or anything. Did they get it wrong? Or was this what God meant? Sure enough, in that little house there, sitting on his mother's knee, they found him, the baby king. The 3 wise men knelt before the little king. They took off their royal turbans and gleaming golden crowns. They bowed their noble heads to the ground and gave him their sparkling treasures. The journey that had begun so many centuries before had led 3 wise men here, to a little town, to a little house, to a little child, to the king God had promised David all those years before. But this child was a new kind of king. Though he was the Prince of Heaven, he had become poor. Though he was mighty God, he had become helpless baby. This king hadn't come to be the boss. He had come to be a servant.